This is why I didn't make fun of Ariana, okay? Because I understand. I get it. If I was Italian, I'd try to be any other race too. Anyways, let's take a look at this. So there's this YouTube channel called Rightly. Now, they made this video called Brad Reacts, reacting to communist and socialist TikToks. And they put a big old space between tick and talk because they're boomers and they have no clue what they're talking about. I wanted to give a quick look, okay? Because apparently this video did so bad. This video was so cringe on their end. With 500,000 views, they only have 10,000 likes. And I really wish I could see what the dislikes look like, but they unlisted this video, so you can't just look it up and find it anymore. So they wanted to hide from this bad, and they deleted a lot of the top comments. So that's why like top comment here has 25 likes. But you know, that's interesting. I haven't even watched this yet. I just want to see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Hey everybody, I'm Brad Palumbo, and you're watching Brad.
This guy's name is freaking Palumbo? Palumbo. Oh, what the fuck? This guy sounds like a sidekick Disney character. Palumbo? That's incredible. I'm Italian. I'll pray for you. Yeah, Plumbo. My gosh. Sims. He does have a name. He does have a randomly generated Sims name. You're right.
Brad Reacts on Right Now. Every week on Brad Reacts, we break down the craziest and cringiest political stuff that's going around on social media.
Wow.
If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button below, because today we're reacting to Marxist and straight up communist TikToks.
Whoa.
Now let's get into it. Zeke.
Wait a second. They're talking about Marxist, but not only Marxist, communist? Ooh, baby. Oh no. I was hoping that they were just gonna stop at Marxism, but man, I'm not sure if I can keep up with this one if they're bringing up actual literal communists, bro. Oh, no, no, no.
Roll the first one.
If you can't live without something, it should be free. Simple as that.
Very real.
Stupid liberals. Let me explain economics to you. See this graph? See how those two lines intersect? That's why people have to starve.
That's funny. That's funny. That's a funny meme. Come on. Stupid fucking liberal. Would you take a look at this? This simple graph can prove to you why that single mom of 3 deserves to be poor. Like, come on, man. I hate this. I hate this guy. Why does he look like the producer is holding a fucking Colt 45 to his head? Is this the fucking reverse Alec Baldwin? Is the producer the one with the gun behind the camera? What's going on here, man? Why does he look like that? He looks like a wax figure. He looks like he's being forced to do this. He looks like they keep him in the basement. What's with this? He looks so tired. His skin does look fake. Is it just me? He looks like a fake human being. He does not look real. I feel like he's gonna pull off the mask like it's fucking Scooby-Doo or something. I would have gotten away with conservatism too if it wasn't for you pesky socialists and your dirty communist mutt. Like, what's happening?
Know how to respond, because for one, let's just delete the word free from your vocabulary. Free doesn't exist. Free is a myth. Somebody has to pay for everything. And when they say free this, free that, what they mean is taxpayers pay for it. What they mean is you and me pay for it every time we get a paycheck and taxes come out of it. So free, no, there's no such thing as free. Now we're talking about essentials, the things that people need to survive. Shouldn't those all just be free and provided by taxpayers? Well, that's nice, but the real question...
No, is he going to do the meme? Is he going to pull up the graph and be like, this is why you deserve to starve? Is he going to do it? It looks like he's about to do it. Sure. People being able to get the things that they need to live, being free at the point of purchase. That seems cool and all, but would you like to look at this graph? This is why you deserve to starve. He's going to do it. Listen, it's okay if you're just the meme. Just don't say that you disagree with it.
Is whether we want those things provided by incompetent government bureaucrats or by free markets. And I, for one, am much more likely to trust Jeff Bezos to get me the things that I need to survive on time than I am to get to the same people that brought you the DMV.
Cucked. That's cucked. Look at this face. This is the face of a man who's being actively cucked. I trust Jeff Bezos more than I do the government. I don't trust Jeff Bezos as far as I can throw him. I'm on the platform owned by his company and I don't even trust him. I make like a third of my income here, my actual real income to pay my bills with, and I still don't trust him. What are you talking about? I don't trust that man. What are you talking? He's literally trying to take over the world. What the fuck? He wakes up every day, turns to his like massive robotic statue made of $100 bills that stands to watch over him as he sleeps, and the bot goes, "What are we doing today, master?" And he rolls over and goes, "The same thing we do every day, try to take over the world." That's literally Jeff Bezos, okay? His workers literally shit in bags because he doesn't give them enough time to use the bathroom. And you trust this man? What are you talking about? Sure, the government's kind of cringe, but at the very least, I can hold them responsible for stuff. We can vote out government officials. You can't vote out Jeff Bezos. The people who do that, they're shareholders. And it's a lot harder to mess with that. At the end of the day, the Jeff Bezos and other companies' job is to make money. It's not make the country better. It's not do good things. It's not to make society more happy. All right. Even to Pachinko's belief. All right. It's not even to improve the spiritual collective. Their job is to make money, period. That's it. And if anything stands in that way, if there is anything that they can do that's unethical, immoral, or downright evil, they'll do it because it's not their job to be good. It's their job to make money. It's in the fine print. That's why they're a corporation. That's what Jeff Bezos's job is. So no, I don't trust them. And this is one really big reason why I don't ship anything through any private shipping organization. Okay, any private shipping company, get that shit out of here. I've only had problems with private shipping companies. I don't trust FedEx and I don't trust UPS to do anything. If I'm sending anything that's important, it ain't going through those companies. It's going through USPS because they always do a good job. And I know the conservatives have been trying to make the government work less and less and do worse and worse jobs by cutting their resources and cutting the amount of time they have to do things. But even being handicapped critically by conservatives, those organizations still run pretty well. And even if they do have problems, they sure as fuck don't have any more than the private organizations that are their sister companies in the free market. Okay, you want to talk about anything that's bad? You want to talk about dystopian? Okay, with this fucking face that you're making on your fucking wax figure mug you got on. Talk to anybody who has private insurance, and they can tell you how nightmarish it is. Tell them about the things that here in the U.S. we go through. People from countries who have like guaranteed healthcare and guaranteed health insurance, they'll look at you like you have three heads. They'll look at the shit that we go through here the same way that we look at like the British occupation of India or like the Holocaust when we go back through those through that shit in the history books. That's how they look at it. It's insane. Anyways,
more importantly, why is denigrating economics cool? Like, that's not much of an argument when you're just disdaining things like graphs and statistics and facts and logic, but I guess that's what passes for an argument on socialist TikTok these days. Zeke, what do you got for me next?
So I have this piece of paper that cost me 1 penny. If you wanted to buy it, I would sell it to you for 1 penny because that is its market value. Okay. I labored to turn that piece of paper into this crane. Okay. If the market value of this crane is $1, that means my labor created 99 cents of value. My labor is therefore worth 99 cents. Yeah, that makes sense. Would it be fair for someone else who didn't do any work to take 90 cents from me just because I happened to make this crane in their house? No, of course not. That would basically be stealing. So you agree that wage labor is theft? Well, no, because when you're a wage worker, you're working for someone. They made an investment and took on all the risk. Like, it's fair for them to take some.
So this one cracks me up because this is straight up out of the Communist Manifesto, guy.
Communist Manifesto? What the fuck? Is this guy human?
This is straight up out of the Communist Manifesto, guys.
Manifesto. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about Marxists and even communists. Communist makes communist point. Whoa, buddy. This one's wild. If you didn't know, it's from the Communist Manifesto. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course it is. Of course. Marxists don't like wage labor. Of course. What are you talking about? Someone who believes in the Constitution made an argument straight from the Constitution. Who could have seen this? What are you talking about?
And it's just circulating around on TikTok. But this is what socialists would call the labor theory of value. The idea that a good or product, well, what it's really worth is how much labor went into it. But that just doesn't make any sense from the get-go. That would mean that two shoes that are the exact same shoe, left foot and right foot, well, one would be worth more if it was made in a way that took more time from a laborer or made by a laborer that worked more slowly.
Ah, yes, I can quadruple the value of this if I just work very slow. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? And here's the thing, that's really weird from what he said, the first part of what he said, which is if it's made in a way that takes more time, yes, it would be more expensive. That's the world that we live in. Yes, it would be. The time it takes to make a product does indeed determine how much money it is. Is that surprising to anyone? One of the big reasons why a lot of things that, very slow to make are very expensive because it takes a lot of time and effort as well, typically to make it more than it does for a lot of other things. But this is why the painting of the Mona Lisa is worth more than a copy of the Mona Lisa. But okay, bud. Or like just a picture of the Mona Lisa. But all right. I mean, I guess no one has ever heard of this argument before. All right. Mr. Capitalist does not know the capitalism.
It doesn't make any sense. It's also just hilarious because they're pretending as if all that's involved in production is labor. Nobody has to take out mortgages, make investments, pay taxes, manage an operation. It's just the worker shows up, as if all production is as simple as paper origami. And more importantly, they think that it's apparently theft to work for somebody voluntarily at a wage you guys agree to. Yet these same people talk about raising taxes, and they don't see that as theft.
I hate this guy. Slam dunk. Well, I'll have you know that immigrant who came over here and who is one day away from losing their apartment took the lowest possible wage job that they could because it was the quickest one to reach them. As you can see, this is a very reasonable exchange. What are you talking about? Hey, buddy. Listen, Plum Chungo, okay? Listen, bud, I got here. You want to take a plane flight with me? You want to get on a plane together? There's these great coconut islands that I would love to show you at some point in time. I'd love to, we can have like a nice chat. I want to show you a couple of things, all right? We can have a voluntary exchange. I love voluntary exchanges, don't you? Hey guys in chat, don't you love voluntary exchanges? I know I do. It's like you work or you die. And apparently this is voluntary when you get into like an agreement with someone to not die. All right, bud. Sure, I guess.
Zeke, roll the next one.
If you didn't see it, it says, POV, we're about to hook up, but you said capitalism isn't the root of every problem. I feel like this may be a little bit of hyperbole, but capitalism do be at the root of a decent amount of problems that we experience today. This is very true. You know what? The exact opposite thing happened to me when I was going to play chess with this one person. She was like much further left than me. She was straight up communist. Said that sometime soon she was going to go buy a gun and do weapons training because she thinks the only way to stop the decay of humanity is to violently overturn the capitalist system, but that was just a communist, you say? Yes, she even made arguments from the Communist Manifesto. She was insane, man. She was nice. Didn't work out, but she was nice.
Oh, okay. I have so many questions there. I don't really know where to start, but one, why are you wearing a mask to a hookup though? It's like, oh, I can't get COVID in my hookup. I think the mask isn't going to save you there.
Hey, bud, maybe the apartment complex had like a mask requirement, or anything else that you were going to do out in public had a mask requirement. His face, I'm telling you, dude, his face is insane, man. His face is wild.
And I also think that if you're quizzing your Tinder hookups on their economic beliefs right before you hop into bed, you might be doing dating the wrong way.
Like this guy knows anything about dating. That's just curious. Listen, bro, like politics are pretty important to some people who are getting into relationships. And you could just have, I don't know about you guys, but for me, and it is unfortunate that I found this out, but typically to have relationships with women, whether whatever that could be, or anybody actually, you kind of have to speak to them, which is kind of unfortunate. I know, like actually having to speak to someone, but to have like a hookup even, you kind of have to say words to them. And so having a conversation is one thing, and that may involve politics at some point in time. Now I know a lot of us haven't been out much, me included. Okay, so I understand, but I got, come on. Talking to people, unpog, that's true.
But even more importantly, the idea that capitalism is the root of all problems, it just doesn't make any sense. There was a time before capitalism existed. It was invented in the mid-17th century. Were there no problems before then? If anything, there were a lot more. And now the countries today that don't have capitalism, do they just have no problems? If that was really the root of all our problems, there would be a lot more going on than this TikTok manages to argue.
What country has no capitalism? I'd be very curious which country has no capitalism. Venezuela. We all know Venezuela has no capitalism, okay? And it is evil. Wait, bro. No, listen, I'm sorry. Like, you, even if you like your capitalism or whatever, you have to understand it comes with a decent amount of problems, especially the way that we run it today. China do be having no capitalism. That is true. China has such no capitalism that its legislature is the wealthiest legislature on the planet capita, which is like super interesting how that happens. Super interesting. Like, I remember we watched this one video by some dudes who named their channel Stop Socialism, and they looked at this like one meme that was like, socialism leads to drug overdoses, and they're like, do you really believe that capitalism leads people to overdose on drugs and abuse drugs? Yes, I do. Ever heard of the opioid epidemic, my good friend? Ever heard of the opioid epidemic? Ever heard what happened when British people found China, Hong Kong? You ever heard about that before, bud? I don't know. I'm curious.
Zeke, what do we got next?
Here, I'll mute this just in case there's like gigasad. Like I don't want to get bipped too hard. He wants to start talking. You know what? I see it. This guy looks like a character from Spy Kids. He looks like a villain from Spy Kids, and I don't know why. There's just something about him. Something about his face, the way he talks. He looks like a character from Spy Kids. He does? Thank you. I've been vindicated. Spy Kids that way. Look at him, man. He does. He do be looking like the guy. Buppy.
Okay, nope. That's not gonna work for me, folks. Don't use cute dogs to push terrible ideas. Don't do it. I love dogs, and dogs.
Wait, what's this? Here, let me see. I mean, there do be a resemblance. I will say that much. No, there is a bit of a resemblance. He does worry me greatly. Our food, comrade.
Not belong in your socialist propaganda. I mean, you can't blame capitalism for the fact that homelessness exists and
why do all those people get homeless? Now, there will always be homeless people, okay? And no matter what system, there will be people who don't have homes. That's true. But a system that leads to such the homelessness that we see today, it's not just normal homelessness that we're experiencing.
Food is thrown away. I mean, how much of that comes back to actually government regulations that in many places make it illegal to hand out food or expose you to legal liabilities if you give away leftovers?
That's not true. Just so you know, it is not illegal if you donate food, unless you actually tampered with the food. It is not illegal to just give food to like homeless shelters and stuff. They choose not to. They choose not to give away that food. They choose to make sure that that there is scarcity to make more money, obviously. So throw it away. Don't keep it. Don't try and give it out. Throw it away. I'm sorry, Mr. Capitalist Man, Mr. Monopoly. This is Capitalism 101, Chief. You can't blame capitalism for hunger. All right, bud.
More importantly, I mean, when I think of the most socialist places in America, I think of California. I think of New York City.
Please, the sewer slide has not been. I gotta tell you, these last couple of streams, I've been looking at the sewer slide in a much different way. It's been calling my name. I do have to tell you. We all know socialist capital of America, California, and New Berlin. What are you talking about? California is not socialist at all. California is like the beacon of capitalism in the country. You know that, right? It is not communist, socialist. They're not. They think socialism is when the government does stuff, and when it does a real lot of stuff, that's fascism. But even then, it's not socialist. Okay. And if you want to see what actual like real poverty looks like, think about the what are the big conservative hotspots? The Deep South, West Virginia. Wait, how are they doing? All of West Virginia, I think like 70% of West Virginia looks like it hasn't recovered from the Great Depression. Like those people are still fucking living in Hoovervilles, and you're gonna sit here and talk to me about fucking California being so terrible. Get the fuck out of here, dude. California has a lot of problems, but that doesn't come from their socialist policies. A lot of that comes from a lot of their capitalist policies, and the fact that especially when it comes to zoning, a lot of that comes from a lot of people who want to keep up a lot of property value, keep a lot of money, around. And so having a bunch of poor people living in good homes doesn't increase your property value. Sometimes it could even decrease it. So they don't want them. So now they've just been kicking homeless people around until there's one place where they just don't give a shit about anymore. And their property value is low enough already that they can just kind of sit there and everyone can kind of forget about it. Yeah, the single family zoning, that's not a socialist thing. That's a capitalist thing. But okay.
Those are also the places that seem to have a lot of homeless people and a lot of hunger and problems. So
yeah, as we know, the Deep South, the Midwest, and also West Virginia doesn't have any like homeless or poverty problems. Oh wait, which of the states are the poorest in the country? Weird.
I mean, it's bad enough to be pushing terrible ideas, but do not use cute dogs to do it. Let's roll the next one, Zeke.
This is one of my favorite other critiques. It's commonly said that socialism and communism has failed every time it's been tried. To this, you just say, by what metric? Because the concept of failure is subjective. Is it because it doesn't exist anymore? Then in that case, do you consider every single civilization up until the ones that currently exist to be failures? And do you consider every country that currently exists to be successful? Because that's dumb. I wouldn't consider giving everyone a house, education, free healthcare, and a job, and food, a failure. That's a lot better than we do here. I would consider someone dying once every 12 minutes because they don't have health insurance a failure. I'd consider the fact that people in Flint, Michigan still don't have drinkable water a failure. I consider a police force that arose to catch black people, runaway slaves, and continues to murder them a failure. 12+ hour voting lines, a failure. The least educated voting against their class interest, a failure.
That was a little based, I have to tell you. That's an interesting argument. I haven't heard someone make that argument before, but it is a decent argument. There are some problems with it, but that is a pretty decent argument. There was socialism and capitalism that came about that did lead to a lot of really great things. I mean, the socialist and communist movements led to a lot of the welfare, a lot of the social safety net and programs that we have today. I mean, just look at Europe, especially back during the time of the USSR, mid and late 1900s. That a lot of that was spurred about because of socialist and communist movements pushing for a more humanitarian slant to the world. I mean, social democrats back in the day were socialists and communists, but that has changed recently. And you've seen a lot of countries backslide now that a lot of capitalist ideas have taken over more. And austerity has been a much bigger thing, and you've seen a lot of countries backslide away from a lot of their great social safety nets, which is a really big problem, and has been leading to a lot of people suffering, a lot of income inequality. That's true, but there are problems with the countries that at least said they have tried to implement socialism. That is true. That's true. But hey, listen, I gotta tell you, not every capitalist country right now is doing a very good thing. And I gotta tell you, there is no country that I can think of, especially one that's ever done well or good on just about any metric, that's taken a really conservative view on their economic policy. I'm talking like no government a part of anything, laissez-faire, suck my ass government because the only fair is laissez-faire. There's no country that I can think of that did anything worthy of note besides the cruelty in their nation that has gone by those metrics. You know, it's just kind of not true. Coolidge and Hoover, who both were big on like the laissez-faire economic policy, led to the Great Depression. But you know, whatever, I guess.
Oh, failure may be subjective, but guess what? Gulags, lines for food, mass starvation, and war crimes that we've seen in basically every communist country throughout history, I think that's about as objective a failure as you can get.
Yes. We all know, guys, no capitalist nation has ever committed war crime, starvation, hunger, food lines. I know there haven't been food lines because you don't give food out to people, you just let them starve. Listen, I will tell you, I do think it's better to have a country where there is starvation and there are food lines for people to get food, and not one where there are no food lines because you aren't giving food to anyone that's hungry. Homeless shelters. You do know that, like, if you want to talk about this, we can talk about this for a second. Ever since COVID hit, The amount of people who have been going to homeless shelters or looking for like donated food or in like food drives and going to soup kitchens has doubled, in some places even tripled. Okay, if you want to talk about bread lines, if you want to talk about food lines, we can. A lot of them are right here. And this isn't saying that those capitalist communist countries, or at least countries that claim to be communist like the USSR, are like good memes. They're not. But you can't sit here and be like, war crimes and hunger, those communists sure are cringe. But you want to talk about some of the countries we got here today? I don't know if you want to go down this route.
And it's just nuts to me, because think of the world today and you think of what societies and what countries come closest to being socialist or communist. It's not a pretty list, guys. North Korea, we've got Cuba, Venezuela.
I'm really curious what like socialist policies North Korea has put in place. What socialism is in North Korea? I'm genuinely curious. Like, what is it? Because I've never heard anybody give an answer to this. I just want to know.
I mean, these are places that people are desperate to leave.
Ah, yes, Venezuela. Wait, isn't like what if socialism is when the government does stuff? Because that's what he believes. Aren't like European countries by this metric closer to socialism too? And they're beating us on like very many metrics. His response to those issues in capitalist countries is either going to be a secret socialist in government, or that they're only lazy and unworthy people. Yes, as you can see, the reason why we have so many homeless and starving people is because they just chose not to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They could have not be homeless and starving, but it's their fault, dumbass.
Whereas the places they want to come to are market-based societies like you have in most parts of Europe and in the US. At the end of the day, nobody ever fled capitalism in a raft.
That's a massive doubt. That's a huge doubt. Plumbo. I can't think of a doubt even higher than this, Plumbo. Plumbo, please. But we can look at, imperialism, colonialism, economic refugees. Sure, buddy. Does he think Mexico isn't capitalist? Yes, because the government does stuff there and he doesn't like it. And it fits his narrative. So obviously they're not. Yeah, entire nations have fucking fled. Greece, yes, 100%. The like economic trouble in freaking Greece. But okay, whatever. Sure, buddy. Yeah, no one has ever had to flee capitalism. What in the world, dude? At least have a little bit of, live in the real world a little bit. If you want to be a capitalist, just at least accept like some things that capitalism has done wrong. Okay, don't try and say that it's a sweet baby child that has never done anything wrong. It's just not true. You're lying to yourself and everybody else around you.
Zeke, let's roll the next one.
Darling, I understand you want a cool communist boyfriend, okay? But chasing after Mr. Mustache nicotine addiction is counter-revolutionary when you are young and beautiful and can rob a member of the bourgeoisie with your looks alone. Find a sugar daddy, redistribute the wealth. That's praxis. That's harm reduction.
Based in Robin Pussy Pilled. That's big brain. Pretty women, don't go for normie socialist communist boys. Go find the richest man you can, slurp all of the wealth that you can from him, and then bring it back to the streets. Okay, steal money from rich old white dudes and give it back to the good causes. Hey dude, listen, if it works, it works. This is an amazing idea. No lies detected.
Okay, that one cracks me up. Like I said, all this content, it's not all bad. Some of it is genuinely hilarious, even if the people pushing it are socialists. A sugar daddy relationship where you are exchanging goods and services for financial compensation, that's a voluntarily free market capitalist transaction.
We all know that capitalism is when you do thing and someone give you thing for it. Yes, this is so true, bestie. Bro, you know that like exchanges have happened before capitalism, right? You mentioned that capitalism came about in like the 17th century. You know that people have been giving things for things before then, right? You know that exchanges have happened. You know that, right? Capitalism is when money. That's true, though. Finally, I'm so glad, Ash, that you're finally starting to quote from the Communist Manifesto. I'm so glad that my audience is starting to finally pick up on the good word of Karl Marx, who wrote the Communist Manifesto. Very good boys.
Well, guys, that's about all the cringe communist content I can handle today.
That's pretty bad. Wait, there's more Brad Reacts? Wait a second. I love this guy. I love Brad Reacts. Cringe Gen Z TikToks about climate change. We all know that there's nothing wrong with the climate, guys. What? Highest recorded temperatures in the history of the world. What? Who cares? What? TikTok's 5 worst minimum wage videos. Oh man, we gotta revisit this guy sometime. He's got banger after banger. What's qualified immunity? Oh no. Oh no, he wants more qualified immunity. I love it when cops get to do whatever they want without facing any legal repercussions. Honestly, it's one of the sexiest things that I can think of. Now this is the Bootlicker channel. This is bad with Brad Palumbo. I'm sorry, my man's fucking name is Palumbo. I actually can't get rid of that. Imagine how tired Brad is at the end of the video from smiling. Yeah, he was doing that like creepy fake smile the entire time, which did make me uncomfortable. This one cracks me up. Straight face. This one cracks me up, guys. You know those like those women from like Bossing Say in ATLA, the ones that are always like smiling? That's what he reminds me of, with that constant, yeah, the Dai Li. Yeah, he reminds me of the Dai Li. You're right. I don't like it. I don't like his smile. It's not good.